Hello, everyone. I hope that you are well today. We are looking at Tarot of the Divine by Yoshitani. I have a couple of decks in my collection that I don't really know where they came from. Does that happen to anyone else, or is just a weird thing that happens to me like more than once? I can think of two at least decks that I don't know how they got in my home. So I think that's kind of cool. I'll put a picture of the other one up here, but this is a deck that I just sort of inherited somehow. And I'm so glad that it found me. First of all, the card backs. Oh my gosh, they are just lovely. And the artwork is amazing. The diversity of the deck, everything I could ever imagine. And I love this deck. I can't believe that it didn't find its way into my collection sooner. Now, maybe I'm just partial to the whole thing because of that moon card that's also featured on the front of the box. And as a Pisces, the moon card is really special to me. But honestly, I get some really great readings from this deck. I think it's a very underrated deck. I've seen it a couple of times, but I don't see it very often. And it is a mass market deck. You can buy it on Amazon. It is very inexpensive. And I just have the softest of places in my heart for a human designed deck that is of really great quality, which this one is. The book is great. The cardstock is exactly what I love, and clearly you can see that the artwork is just fantastic. But for a deck of this quality, with the price tag that goes with it, that you can just go on Amazon, buy it on Amazon Prime with free shipping, I have to have a place in my heart for that kind of deck all day long, every day of the rest of my life. Because even though my husband and I have worked our way to a place where I can thankfully afford to buy a bougie deck every now and then, an independently published deck, or back a Kickstarter that's rather expensive. That was not always the case. You guys, there was a time in my life where I was going to school. My children were little. I think I had two little kids. I probably blocked it out of my memory because it's kind of traumatic, but I didn't have a washing machine for many years, and there were these rent to own places, and we went to one of those places and bought, in quotation marks, a washing machine. And it was so lovely to not have to take our laundry to the laundromat anymore or wash it in the bathtub, because we didn't even have the change down the back of the couch cushion to make it to the laundromat. Yeah, that's probably totally a Gen X thing. But I was trying to pay for school. I did have a scholarship, but it wasn't a full ride scholarship. And I had two babies. One of them was still in diapers, and diapers were so expensive back then. Um, but anyway, I was sitting at the table doing my homework, and our power got shut off because we didn't pay the bill. That was pretty bad. And I shed some tears, lit a candle, and continued to study while my kids ran around and played. They didn't know. They didn't know anything was going on. I didn't really have anywhere to turn. I didn't have anyone I could go to. I had to figure it out on my own. And my husband was there, and we figured it out. But the next thing that happened was the next day they came and they repossessed my washing machine because we couldn't make the payment on it. So it was a bad time, y'all. I can even afford to keep my lights on or do my laundry, so there's no way I could afford a $50, $60, or $70 tarot deck. The only deck I could afford was the one that was a quarter at the local garage sale. That is why people who publish decks like this will always have my utmost respect, and I will always support them, buy them, review them, and hope that y'all can find a place to find a deck that is affordable, that speaks to you, and that will help you to guide the choices in your life. And remember, you are loved.